Welcome to the Sweet 16 of the Best Take bracket, the best of the best takes will make it through. So here's how we're doing it. Tony and Brandon are each going to give a take for an athlete, and then they'll give a rebuttal take against the athlete the other one is trying to move through the round. We've got a matchup today of the 4 seed, Peyton Manning, and the 9 seed, Ray Lewis. All right.
Hey, Ray.
First one up is the take for Ray Lewis. Are you ready for this?
For Ray Lewis. Yeah, I think so.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Brandon Maybe's take on why Ray Lewis should make it to the Elite Eight. 60 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so Ray Lewis, easily the best middle linebacker of all time. Faust, you're full of crap and you're an idiot. I'm sorry, I love you, but saying Urlacher is better makes me want to punch you in the throat. Not even close. That's a joke. Ray Lewis is in the conversation for the best defensive player ever and the best football player ever. Sustained greatness, leadership. 7-time was the first team All-Pro. That's the second most for any linebacker behind only the Lions' great Joe Schmidt. That was back in the 50s. Way too far away. His just IQ of on the football field was just off the charts, which is what makes him and Peyton head-to-head so much fun. So I'm going to talk about something really strange real quick, a game where Peyton Manning actually won. 2006 playoffs, both of them Ray at the end of his prime, Peyton middle of his prime. It's a team sport, but this is an individual competition. And in that individual game, Ray Lewis ate Peyton Manning's lunch. Peyton Manning, the Colts, scored 30 points a game in that playoffs. 15 points, no touchdowns in that game. Quarterback rating 39 compared to 75 the rest of the game, the rest of the playoffs.
Cut it off. All right, there's a take for Ray Lewis. All right, Tony, give us your best take against why Ray Lewis should pack his bags and go home. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Hulk Hogan, The Rock, John Cena, and Ray Lewis. What do these men all have in common? They're great hype men. They can walk into a crowd and get you pumped up, but then they deliver results that don't matter. John Cena, doesn't matter you're WWE champion. Doesn't matter if you can smell The Rock is cooking. It doesn't matter these results, and Ray Lewis produced results that didn't really matter. I do not doubt his energy, and I do not doubt his presence, but you are being misinformed or misjudging by the allure of the entrance that Ray Lewis produces. There are 4 seasons.
30 seconds.
Over 160 tackles. In those 4 seasons, he recorded 13 of his 31 interceptions, 4 of his 19 fumbles forced. So his stats are inflated by those 4 seasons. He's a finished top 5 linebackers 5 times in his career, and that was it. He was a menial, average player who produced a great entrance and got you hyped up, and then you were misinformed, misillusioned by his entrance. He was not that great. London Fletcher, Zach Thomas, Brian Urlacher, better.
Time. A little bit of recycled content there in the rebuttal, but I'll allow it. I'll take it as a honoring symbol to my take in the previous round. But now we've got the take for Peyton Manning. Tony, are you ready for this? To give your best take on why Peyton Manning should make it to the Elite Eight?
For sure.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
What Brandon's going to bring up is the fact that Peyton Manning had a losing record in the playoffs and that he only had 2 championships. But he went to the playoffs 14 times in his 16-year career. And somehow Brandon's going to point that as a negative. He's going to paint this whole narrative as a negative, that he only had a losing record in the playoffs. He only went to the playoffs 14 times out of his 16-year career. He went to the playoffs 14 times, Brandon, out of 16 seasons. That is ridiculous. He was his playoffs losses, 7 of them were by a TD or less. It's a defense that could not carry him. It could not help him out. He had to carry the team. He's a 5-time NFL
30
MVP.
seconds.
He had 2 regular season losing records, only 2. But here's what I want to point out. In 1998 from 2011, in 8 seasons with the Colts, or in 13 seasons with the Colts, he had in 8 seasons with at least 12 regular season wins and 11 playoff appearances. From 1967 to 1997, the Colts franchise had 1 season of 12 wins and 9 playoff appearances. 30 years, 9 playoff appearances. In 13 seasons with Peyton Manning, they had 12.
Time. Cut him off. All right, well done. There's the take for Peyton Manning from Tony Regato. And now we've got 60 seconds of a rebuttal from Brandon Maybe on why Peyton Manning should be headed home back to New Orleans. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Kick him back to Archie's house. I think Tony just did my work for me. So he lost all those playoff games by a touchdown or less. So he's not clutch. Very true. Great. He made the playoffs in a awful division. Like, name another good team in that division those 12 years. None of them were. Big deal. What did you do when you got there? Nothing. Saying Ray Lewis is only a great hype man, nothing mattered. So 2 Super Bowls don't matter.
30 seconds.
I mean, Peyton, he couldn't ever win the big game, which was said in the last round. He just couldn't. That 2006, their first Super Bowl, the only one he won with the Colts, should have lost to that Ravens team. But Steve Air McNair blew it and gave Peyton a chance. And then they had to beat, what was it, something called a Grossman in the Super Bowl to win? Like, I mean, come on. And then his second Super Bowl, please, that gross title that they won in Denver. Peyton didn't do anything for that. I could have done that. I could not have done that. That's not true. That's not, that
And
part's not
time. All right, here you have it. Vote for who had the best take for the matchup between Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis. Either vote for Tony's take on why Peyton Manning should advance and Ray Lewis should go home, or why Brandon's take should move Ray Lewis to the Elite Eight and Peyton should go back home to Archie's house. Thank you for joining us on the Sweet 16, and we'll see you next time.